Hello and welcome to FPL Have a Beer, where I invite you to have a beer with me in the jungle while I talk about FPL. Happy bank holiday weekend, 4 days off. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please smash, that's what they always say, smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And we are live because it's now playing me back in reverse. And please like to get the video out there. And please check my channel memberships. Trigger loves when I plug channel memberships. If you would like to support the channel even further, I know Trigger you would like to. So a bit of a joke between me and Trigger there, Yelena. He's a big fan. So for this live stream, I'm delighted to be joined by a good friend of the channel who has come onto the channel twice before, once to interview me and once for her own interview. I still think, Yelena, that interview with me is the bizarrest piece of content, possibly in FPL history. And she's also appeared on my.
I did enjoy it though.
It was good fun. I think it's one of the better videos as well. Mainly because of the star guest you were interviewing, but and it also came onto my second channel. That was our last video we made together a couple months ago, wasn't it? With us ranking film ones. The delightful.
Yeah, I went through a phase of your channel non-stop, and then it feels like it's been ages since.
Yes, we have missed you. The delightful. I'm going to say it the right way around. Yelena FPL, because I always say FPL Yelena, but it's Yelena FPL, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, Yelena is on a slight delay behind me, so I'm going to have to remind myself to pause for a few seconds to let her catch up. Yelena, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really conscious. I don't want to sound like I'm talking over you because I start replying and then there's words coming and I'm like, oh God.
That's okay. I just need to make sure I leave it a couple of seconds. I mean, I had a few comments on my interviews this week. My last interview with James saying, there were 3 comments just like, stop interrupting him. I think I've got a tendency to do that anyway. So
it's not easy.
How has your week been? What have you got? Any plans? Nice plans for the Easter weekend?
Yeah, a lot of family events. So we're seeing Azzy's coming to my parents on Sunday, and then we're seeing my niece and nephew. Need to think of some sort of magical Easter bunny surprise for them. And then Monday we're seeing his parents. So a lot of food, I'm thinking. Food and drink and good times. What about you?
Very family orientated. Messing around with my FPL channel because, as we said, I won't go into it. Before we started recording, I've tried to venture out into the real world a couple of times this week and it hasn't gone too well. So I'm going to spend my time editing videos like a dorky YouTuber should.
That is the way to live.
You haven't put out a video yet this week.
No, it should be going out tonight.
Oh, so we are getting one then.
An exclusive, yeah. It'll be coming tonight. My one last week, I do put a clip in, but I was too drunk over the weekend. I looked back at the footage. I was like, I can't do anything with this.
Thank you, Colm. I will try and keep the microphone nearer to my mouth. I've taken the dampen the sound off, so I'm hopefully a bit louder because I'm generally a bit quiet in these. So I'll just say hello to people. We have the Fall of Math, who says, should it be FPL have an Easter egg? Possibly it should be.
Aww.
But that's a little bit too wholesome for my channel, I do believe. Hi Colm. Hi Trig. I'm too tight to give you any money. Keep FPL free. He says in relation to memberships, I know you're secretly waiting for the paycheck to come through to become a member, Trig. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do today is, if you haven't watched one of my live streams before, we'll do a fairly normal FPL live stream for the first bit. We're going to go through our teams and how they did. We're going to have a look at 2 free hit drafts. One from FPL Review, because I know everyone hates them. Every time I put an FPL review draft, it just gets ripped apart. It gets ripped apart. And also a more conventional one, which I just stole off of Let's Talk FPL Andy. And we're going to do predictions, which is an idea I stole off Blackbox. And then in the second half, or more towards the end, we will have a random chat about a topic of some choice or topics, Yelena, which I have sort of passed with Yelena. So Yelena.
Yeah, you say some random chat. You were like, I need an excuse to be able to vent about this. So we're going to discuss it tomorrow night. I was like, okay.
Yes,
I'm ready.
That one particular thing. Az is here. Hello, Az. For the masses, haha, I should be preparing for 2 job interviews next week, but I'm here. Well, here is the place to be. I'm sure you can catch up with them tomorrow. Do you mind keeping an eye on the chat as well, Yelena?
Yeah, of course.
Because remember, you are our chief moderator.
I like the fact
on the channel now. You're my chief moderator.
I like the fact as well. You said about predictions stolen from Black Box, and then Az popped up straight away.
Yes. So
that was nice timing.
Or borrowing from Black Box. I had do you know Nathan? Bloody, I'm going to forget his name. Someone who can chat can remind me. Nathan Bacon. Have you ever seen any of his stuff?
Oh, he is so funny. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I interviewed him on Monday, and he was saying watch-alongs, and he's a bit of a Steve-O, as in like he'll say if ever you've seen any FPL content creators do this, so I was the first one to do it, and his one was the rating the drafts of other people. I think he roast. I think he calls them roasts of drafts.
It's so good. The thing is, it's not. He has a nice nature about him. I'd be happy for him to roast my draft. You get all the best people on your channel, don't you? Nathan Bacon. I'm looking forward to that one.
He actually basically asked to come on because he commented on the video I made about is all FPL content the same. And he said, I've got a few views on this, so I was like, all right, come on and tell us. And I'll be honest,
that is perfect.
I hadn't watched any of his stuff, but his stuff is very well. He said, well, I'm not going to get into it actually. Basically, he's gone between doing standard FPL content and last season he finished in 10 million because he was taking 10 hits a week or something crazy like that.
Was it the start of this season or was it last season where he was doing really well because he just threw all his chips out?
Yeah, he was third.
I think it must have been the start of the season.
He was third in the world on the Saturday of the first game week because he did the perfect bench boost. Apparently, he was very, very proud about that. Because I didn't know that, and I asked him because he just has third in the world on his Twitter, and I was like, "What's he going to say? Like end of the season, mid-season?" And I jokingly said, "Game week 1," and he said, "I say worse than that. It's a Saturday game week 1." It was brilliant.
As I said, have we asked why Gary is in a forest?
I am trying out at the suggestion of FPL Nightmare some different backgrounds, and also this is the only one that seems to work, which doesn't completely give away my green screen. But next week I may be in a desert, I may be in the air, I could be anywhere. Anyway, should we do some?
Your green screen gets so much hate, but I think it's got a real charm about it. I really like that green screen, but everyone else seems to have an issue with it.
I've got like a wall.
Az is going to go off in the chat because he gets annoyed.
Oh, do you know the best comment I've had on a video? So if you've seen in the last few I've done, I've got like a room. It looks like I'm in like a flashy mansion sort of thing. And someone actually commented, but you can always see this green bit in between my head and the outside. He actually commented, nice video, but you're showing off a bit. Nobody needs to know you have a piano. Try to just have a simpler background in the past. And the weirdest thing was the guy said he used to work in media. I'm like, when did you work in media, mate? The 1930s?
That is so funny.
You
can be really humble with your new green screen.
Well,
Trigger's on my side. He said, I agree with Yelena. Miss the green screen.
Well, I'm not even inside now. I'm out in the forest, in the wild, where we should be. Anyway, should we do some FPL type stuff, Yelena? So this is... All right, zoom in. This is my team for the past game week. I got 91 points. I played my triple captain. I am not quite as down on the triple captain as a lot of people, like Steve, I seem to be. I will read my team out for the audio listeners. See how smooth and natural that was. Yeah, I'm getting good at this. Raya on 2.
Yeah, you did a good zoom in, and now you're reading it out.
Do you know how to pronounce this Man United player's name? I always get it wrong, and people take the mickey out of me in the chat. Mazraoui? Is that it?
No. Mazraoui?
sounds good to me. With 0, Livramento with 8, Garvardiol with 1, Jacob Murphy, who actually Nathan Bacon triple captained. So I've got to give him some kudos there. Eze on with 19, Jacob Murphy.
What a legend.
Eze on 6, Sar on 7, Salah on 6, Mateta on 2, Isaac on 33 with the triple captain, and Marmouche with 7. So pretty template. I didn't bench boost, but I couldn't have done anyway because I hit the triple captain, but I would have only got 8 if I did. So I'm quite happy with that. And it has risen me to the grand heights of 283,000 in the world, which doesn't sound great and isn't that great in my historical rankings, having finished third, 3,000 and 12,000 past 2 seasons. But as my highest place of this season, I am delighted with that, Yelena, I have to say. And
That's crazy. Because the last time I was on, I'm sure I was in the millions. You were far, far ahead of me. And now I think I'm about 200k behind you.
Really? Well, I've only gone up. So, I mean, I've not gone back once this season. It's taken me a very, very long time to drag myself up here. I was stuck on 400,000 for about 10 game weeks. And then just the last 2, I've started moving up. So I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think of the triple captain 11 points? I've seen a lot of negativity about that, but I'm fairly happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's decent. I mean, I think if I was relieved I didn't use my triple captain this week, so I don't know if I would have been massively happy about it. But you got the return, so it's not like a full-on blank. Because didn't people triple captain Salah earlier in the season, and that didn't go very well? Yeah. As we know, because I know that he used his triple captain that game week. So I think maybe because of the comparison of like the Haaland triple captain at the start of the season.
Do you mean the one in 24 when a lot of people used their assistant manager instead? Because he did really well that week, didn't he?
Yeah, so that was one of my regrets this season, because I was set on triple captaining Salah, and then I decided to use assistant manager instead. And I wish I'd have done triple captain and then gone straight into assistant manager. Yeah. But I think when people are comparing it to that level, then this feels disappointing. But actually, I think it's a good return. Yeah, and it's given you that boost, hasn't it? You've got a green arrow, and that's all you want.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I've had a couple of really good triple captains, but I've also had more crap ones than 11 points. So I'm happy with that. So let's have a look at your team. Well, I'll close that window now. I'll leave it there. And I will zoom in a bit. Do you want to read it out for... Can you see it? I can read it out otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why don't you read it out? Save me the pain.
I will do. Raya on 2. Munoz on -1. Oh dear. Livramento on 8. Gavardiol on 1. Sar on 7. Murphy on 19. Palmer, a lot of people still got him, haven't they? On 4. Salah on 6. Yeah. Mateta on 2. Marmouche on 7. And Captain Isaac 22. And on the bench, you've got, I can't read the points. Oh, I can do it. I can read this guy. Verbruggen, Rogers, Kanate, and Milenkovic. Okay. So how many points was this? It's up here. 89. Pretty good then.
Yeah, I was pleased. I was pleased with the overall points, but there were just so many parts of this game week that gave me the false hope. So like losing Forest clean sheet in basically the final minute, that was really annoying. Canate not get. I thought this bench was quite solid. I was looking forward to it. I was pleased, obviously, thank goodness I got something from Rogers. But the fact that Brighton managed to concede when I thought a clean sheet was absolutely the bank, because Leicester have been terrible and just not been scoring. But obviously it's going to be Brighton that are the ones that finally concede. And then, the Milenkovic clean sheet going. I can't remember what minute it was in, but I, again, thought that was locked in. And then the rest of the team, I'm really happy with Murphy. That's probably one of the best transfers I made on my wild card. But Munoz having a double game week and coming away with -1 is ridiculous. And then Mateta as well, coming away with 2 points and a double.
What was the score in the first Crystal Palace game? I've forgotten that one.
The first one was 5-2 to City.
Oh, yeah, bloody hell. A lot of people...
they've conceded 10 goals in 2 weeks.
Quite a few people played their assistant manager on Glasner, didn't they? But you can't get minus points.
Yeah.
You can't get minus points, can you, from a assistant manager? I think it's only plus points. Because if you could get minus points, he would have been pretty badly affected, like minus for a goal or something.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, as and I were watching the City game, because Palace were 2-0 up, weren't they, against City? And we said Glasner was the obvious choice to go for. What a great, assistant manager, what a great time to use the chip. And then losing 5-2, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, it was one of those double game weeks where it wasn't great to chase the doubles. And what's annoying is now, obviously, it's back-to-back double for Palace. So I don't really know what Palace are going to turn up for the upcoming game week. And it's good. I've got, at least I'm tripled up. And if they do have a resurgence and sort out whatever went wrong this week, that will work in my favour. But yeah, it wasn't the best. And then the City game really annoyed me. Going 2-0 down to Ipswich, and then we only managed to equalise because of no goal. So that was a frustrating one. I went for Palmer over Saka on my wild card, and it was for that Ipswich fixture. And it obviously, at least Palmer got the assist. It could have been worse, but I probably would have saved. It would have been easier if I'd just done Palmer to Saka, and then it would have saved me the transfer this week. But I'm not sure if I am going to go for Saka, but. Yeah, it's a mix. I think I'm glad with my points because it could have been a lot worse, but not what I was expecting really.
So where is that taking you in the overall ranks now? Because you had a couple of crappy weeks, hadn't you? I thought you'd gone down a bit.
Yeah, I was stuck in the millions for ages. I'm at 440k.
Oh, that's not bad. I was hoping.
Yeah, it's good progress.
I was hoping, because, we had a bit of a joke in one of the interviews that you might beat me this season. I was hoping I'd opened a big enough gap that I'd be able to gloat a bit here, but obviously not. That's that's probably only like 10-point difference or something. But
I've still got my triple captain, so if I can pull that off.
Okay.
Nightmare's in the chat, and he says, "New haircut is looking sharp, Gary."
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm going your style, Andrew. Although I have got a little bit there, so not quite the full skinhead. All right, let's. As I like to say, we have to do this. It's the traditional FPL. I always take the mickey out myself because you can't really do a video saying all FPL content is not the same, and then not rip the piss out yourself when you do exactly the same as every other FPL content. Here is Ben Krellin's table. That's all credit Ben and James from Planet FPL. I'm being serious here, obviously, but also taking the piss out of myself for their incredible work that they do, predicting double game weeks. So, I think everyone pretty much knows now what these are, but we've got Crystal Palace with a up. So, what? Before I ask that, before I go through this, what clips do you have left then, Yelena?
The free hit and my triple captain. So free hit, the plan is 34. Triple captain, I was considering this week, but I might wait until 36.
Because you could get... How many could you get out? Because you've got a lot more than me. Could you potentially get away with not doing it in 34? But then when would you use it, I guess? I'm just thinking
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because you got Verbruggen... Got 1, 2, 3, 4... I guess 5, 6, 7. 7 or 8. You could get away with it in 30.
Yeah, and by the time it comes, I'll have 3 free transfers, but I think I'll just use the free hit. The free hit and wildcard, they're chips that I just don't like because my original team always ends up doing better somehow. So yeah. I think I'll use it in a week where there are the blanks, and then hopefully I'll have a higher score anyway. Whereas if everyone's playing and then I use my free hit, I don't think it will go very well.
And at least you can carry over those. It's not like by playing the free hit you lose the transfers anymore, is it? Which is always a good thing. You can save them up and use them in 36, maybe.
Exactly. What about you? What chips have you got left?
So I've got bench boost. Well, we'll get onto this in a bit when we look at our teams. I've got bench boost, which I'm going to use this week, and then also free hit, which I'm going to use in 34 because I literally have 2 players. So I've got no choice. So I'm hoping, what I'm hoping doesn't happen is I make a climb up because my goal is always the top 100,000. I'm a bit worried I'm going to get on the precipice of the top 100,000 in 34 and then just fall away in the last 4 weeks because I've got no chips.
Oh.
But I need to be more positive than that,
yeah.
really, don't I? Okay.
Exactly.
So let's have a look at Ben Crennitt's table. So shall I have a quick look at the chat? Is there anything interesting happening in the chat, Yelena?
Well, Nightmare said free hit 36 or 37 is his new plan, which is exciting.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The thing is, what do you know? What it's something I have to admit I've not kept up with it. There might be in 36 and there might be in blanks in 37. Maybe some people in the chat can know. What does that? Do you know what that depends on? I know you said you haven't really been keeping up with FPL recently. Depend on.
I was literally just reading about it. It was on the. I'm going to get it wrong. Someone in the chat will know. It was on the fantasy football website. I was reading the Scout to try and get up to date with things, and I've seen nothing stuck in my head. But that's the thing, because if.
Go on, sorry.
What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
If City end up doubling, that's one that I could be tempted to use my triple captaincy on, because if it's Southampton and Bournemouth, I would happily take my chances with Marmoush in that.
Oh, surely you've got to captain Chris Wood if he has a double game week after how much.
Yeah, but he came back from injury and he hasn't had a return yet.
But it's still.
I was expecting him to have first game back, score.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It would be nice. I've got my Chris Wood shirt that I could wave out the window in celebration.
If I do lose to you this season, he is being. I always name my team each season after the player who pissed me off the most the last season. And it's always I hate someone. And next season it is already, no matter what happens between now and the end of the season, it is I hate Chris Wood. He is that will be my team.
I can't talk to you all of next season. That is blasphemous. He's the greatest player on earth.
Your team name is going to be I love Chris Wood, is it? Or, I'm just predicting.
Yeah, probably. Chris Wood forever. Might get it tattooed. If I triple captained him and he did something like Barnes has done this game week, I would 100% get a Chris Wood tattoo. That would just make my day.
But what if you then triple captain him the next season and he gets sent off? Then you'll have to get the tattoo removed, maybe. There are always the regrets. There's always potential.
No, I think if I had the tattoo. Yeah, I think he wouldn't be able to come into my team again. I couldn't do the risk. It's like John McGinn last season. I absolutely loved him. And then this season, he got a bit sassy, a bit aggressive on the field. And then that was it on the pitch. And then, I've gone off him completely.
So this week, we've got doubles for Crystal Palace. To be honest with you, I one of the reasons I started liking doing these streams is it kind of does make me sit down and look myself. And sometimes... Sometimes you get some useful hints. Like a couple of weeks ago, Nightmare told me to bench Murphy instead of Saka, and that helped me a lot. So, Andrew, if you've got any useful tips, please add them in. So Crystal Palace, Man City, Villa, and Arsenal all doubling. So a lot. So do you say sorry, Yelena? You're playing your triple captain this week?
No. Well, maybe. I don't think so, though.
Okay.
Because the dream scenario would be using it on Saka, but I'm worried about his minutes and I'm worried about his fitness, and I don't really want to use a triple captain on someone that might only play like 120, 130 minutes. And then I think Marmoush should be the obvious triple captain for me, but I don't think Everton and Villa are that easy as fixtures. So there's no one really jumping out at me, and I think maybe I'll use it in 36 as a last-ditch attempt to salvage something back from this season.
So, considering we don't know that if 36 is going to happen as a double game week, are you not worried then if you don't do it this week, you potentially will just end up using it in a single game week player, or are you happy to do that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that, to be honest. I mean, look at this game week. I could have used it on Mateta or like a Palace attacker, and it wouldn't have gone very well. Whereas because I was thinking, I'm not going to do this, but Bowen this game week, because they're playing.
Bowen?
Who are they playing? Southampton.
Yeah.
Obviously West Ham single game week, they're playing Southampton, and I thought maybe that could be worth a punt, or even Salah, because they've got Leicester this week, haven't they? But I won't be doing that. I will be waiting and then seeing if there's a double in 36 and then going from there. But there's just no one really standing out to me. I might have a last minute panic on Friday and then just activate the triple captain. Where people are bench boosting this week or even having like free hits, which we'll get to. Maybe that will help keep me up. But I don't know, because I haven't got a lot to lose this season. I feel like I can play around a bit more and take more risks.
So Steve-O is, and I guess a few other people are doing it. So I'm gonna go on to the 2 free hit drafts. But would you? So I'm bench boosting this double game week. Steve-O is, I know him and Ray have sort of like figured out the whole chip strategy beforehand, so I'm sure it won't change his mind. But he's playing the free hit this week, which is obviously then going to neglect not being able to use it in 36 and 34. Do you see any benefits in using it this week? I really don't. I know in the case if you plan for it, it's difficult to get out of it now, but I just don't see the free hit being of much use to people this week. Even in Steve-O's case, when he's planned for it, I would not do it.
Yeah, it's the same argument really, like with the triple captain with Arsenal. I'm not sure who I would necessarily go for. Same with City. It's not a very appealing week for me. I think if Steve-O wants to do it and have fun and he's got a gut feeling, it might pay off and be really good. But yeah, personally for me, I don't really fancy it.
For me, it was because I could build a wild card, which allowed me to what did I do last week? Triple captain. Bench boost this week with, I actually thought it would be 2 doublers. It's only 1 doubler, but I've also got Salah on the bench. Then free hit, and I know then I've got no hits the rest of the season, but Steve-O at least won't have any chips left either, I don't think. So I just didn't get the planning behind that, why people plan for that, but I'm sure Steve-O will. He recorded a whole.
The thing is, look at this game week where a load of us have gone for triple Palace, and then that hasn't gone well at all. We've got hardly any points between them in a double game week. So I think at this point of the season, everything's just so unpredictable, and it might be that the people that are free hitting this game week were actually onto something, and then 34 will be a really low scoring week, and they'll manage to get away unscathed.
What do you think about? I think we can be fairly sure that the Man City players won't be affected by a rotation. What do you think about Arsenal? Who are obviously through now again. Well, we'll go for it. What do you think about Arsenal? Do you think there'll be rest for the likes of Saka and Atel?
I think so. Because I was thinking I definitely want to bring in an Arsenal attacker. And again, I was thinking maybe go for something a bit more rogue, like Trossard instead of Saka. But I just don't see. I couldn't predict the starting 11, and I think at this point there's been a lot of surprises, not just with Arsenal. It's been kind of across the teams that people have been rotated or taken out early. So I couldn't predict it.
And Villa, they're out now, but I guess they could be tempted to rest players against Man City for the what have they got coming up? Semi-final of the FA Cup? Do you reckon that's possible?
Yeah, with Villa, because again, when I was planning my wild card, I thought of going for Watkins, and I thought Rashford would be a really nice option as well. But the only one I thought I can really rely on is Morgan Rogers, and so far, touch wood, that's paid off because he has been getting those starts. But it could be that actually they go with Watkins. I don't know. It's quite unpredictable at the moment. I think Morgan Rogers is my standout for Villa, and I've already got him in the team, so I'm pleased with that. But again, someone else could be a nice punt. But do you think you'll target anyone from Villa?
I am, yeah. I'm going to go. Well, we'll get onto it in a bit, but I'm definitely going to get Rogers in. I wanted to get Watkins in, but I just can't trigger all of this. FPL review tells me no. I just don't think I can. He's not starting enough, is he? And that would be for a hit.
No. Who do you think will be on penalty?
Sorry, penalties.
Who do you think will be on penalties now? Because obviously, Asensio had his absolute disasters 2 in a row.
People are saying Rashford, don't they?
Oh, okay.
That's what I've heard. I don't know
Because
what.
that could be worth the punt.
Maybe I don't know. I think Morgan Rogers is the only one that I trust on there. And there's also people said, well, I've heard Let's Talk FPL
Yeah.
Andy talking a lot about Crystal Palace. He reckons they'll possibly rotate quite a bit against Arsenal again because of the FA Cup match. Which,
Mm.
which I mean, I guess it is only really that relevant if you're free hitting, because I guess otherwise you've got them. You're gonna stick with them. You're not going to get rid of them when they've got a double game week, are you?
Mm.
Um,
No. Oh, as said, Emery confirmed Rashford on pens.
okay, cool. So let's have a look at the 2 wildcard drafts I created last night. I don't think there's been any injuries, so hopefully these will not have been outdated. This was Trigger, if he's still here, I'm sure we'll slate this. Well, I know FPL Nightmare does. This is FPL Reviews wildcard. Not wildcard, free hit. So please send all abuse to FPL Review. So I'll read this one out. We've got Martinez in goal. So we've got 10 double game week players. Martinez, Saliba, Ruben, Gavardio, Sar, Eze, Marino, whatever. Salah, who's the only single game week player. Saka, Watkins, and Marmoush. And I did the captaincy. And then on the bench, it doesn't really matter, but Henderson, Visser, Bradley, and Konza. What do you think of this one? And tell us, what do you think of this one? And let us know in the chat what you think of this one.
Can I just say, every time I see Konza, it reminds me of Triggerlips's video towards the start of the season talking about how everyone's teams were the same, and it was Dunk Konza Winks on the bench. So every time I see Konza, I just have his voice in my head. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Sar is one, he's in my team at the moment, and his underlying stats are really good. And FPL Semi-Casual brought in Barnes this week, and he said the reason he did it and captained him was because his underlying stats have looked so good. So that makes me feel positive that Review have gone for Sar and I've got him in my team. And also what I find interesting is no De Bruyne, because I know there's obviously a lot of chat around him at the moment.
He's in the next one.
And it's good to know the analytics side. Yeah, nice. The analytics side are obviously not backing him. They've gone for Saka instead. Marino's one that I wanted to bring in on my wild card, but just felt a bit risky. But maybe that's something.
The analytics even had Salah, I think, above De Bruyne for predicted points, which is the single game week. So that shows what they think. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, but it's Leicester, so I can see that. I can understand it. But yeah, doubling up on City defence is smart, I guess. I don't think I'd do it personally, but overall, it's okay. There's nothing too wild. Watkins, again, another indicator. Maybe he'll be getting those starts, getting the minutes in. And then Martinez in goal, again, makes sense. It's strange to have Konsa in there and then benching him, but... But I mean, like Trigger said, interesting, it does not have a Villa mid. And I would have thought Rodgers would be in there, but I guess they're hedging their bets behind Watkins.
I guess it's the rotation. They're probably only... the minutes are going to be... I guess the minutes will only just be slightly more than a single game week player for the Villa midfielders. Apart from... I'm surprised Rodgers isn't in there. But maybe they didn't need the money.
Yeah.
I mean, when I ran this through, apart from Watkins, who... I don't think I would pick it. It just looked a bit boring to me. That was... Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
I think it is boring, but it's obvious because you're just going to chase the doubles, aren't you? But apart from Salah, but he's the highest scoring FPL player, so it's completely understandable that you would still have him in. And then did you say was the Marmoush captaincy? You picked that?
I did that because I'd have had to have put it in. I'd have had to have done a load of more work to find out who they wanted to be to captain. I think they're actually recommending that I captain.
That's the spirit.
They're recommending that I captain Saka with my own team. And considering I have a fairly similar team to this, I'd imagine it's probably recommending Saka. But my captain's on Marmoush. Just because I don't trust Saka at the minute to start 2 games. Any love for this in the chat, Yelena? I'll have a quick look myself, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Trigger said looks a very good team, to be fair.
Trigger
So I
lip.
think that's possibly the highest praise we could get for a
Trigger lip.
review.
Trigger, are you feeling okay? I know you flew somewhere last night. You have got some sort of I don't know, weird. What do you call it when you get off the flight? Yelena, can you help me out?
Like jet lag.
Jet lag, yeah. Very strange. Okay. What would you? Let's give this a rating. I'd give this 7 out of 10. We're going to compare it to Andy's one next. Yelena, what do you reckon?
I'm going to do 7.5, and I think my only criticism is not having Rodgers. I'd probably go for Rodgers over Moreno, and then maybe swap Watkins for someone, but I'm not quite sure. I'd probably, if it was my team, I'd probably stick with Mateta over Watkins.
Yeah, I don't like the Watkins pick. Okay, right, so let's.
You're not going to believe this, and I'm glad you're sitting down, but Trigger Lips has given it a 9 out of 10.
Bloody hell. Okay, let's see what Trigger Lips thinks of this one. So this is from earlier in the week. But again, I don't think a lot has changed. I just took this one straight because I'm lazy and I couldn't be bothered to make my own one. From Let's Talk Andy's FPL video. So I'll read this one out. So the bench is a pile of rubbish. It was impossible. I found it difficult putting this together because I didn't know who Jebson and half the guys on the bench were. I was like looking up who does he play for. But in terms of the team, so again we've got one single Gameweek player, Salah. Everyone else doubling. So I mean, it's not. There is quite. I'm straight out. Raya, Saliba, Munoz, Gvardiol, Rashford, Eze, De Bruyne, Salah, Saka, and then Mateta and Marmoush up front. And again, I've just stuck the captain. Well, actually, no, I think this was the captains that Let's Talk FPL Andy had. So, I mean, I guess the big difference is here. Crystal Palace defender has replaced Ruben Diaz. De Bruyne is in. That's a big one. Rashford in over Sarr, and then Mateta over Watkins. I think that's the only difference. So I think there's only 4 differences. So it's not radically different, but I preferred this one when I saw it from.
There's quite a big swing though.
In what way?
Going for like the double Arsenal defence rather than double City defence, and then obviously double. Well, the other attack rather than double Arsenal attack.
Yeah, so the other one had Aston Villa in goal, didn't it? Yeah. No, you're right. Sorry, that was I missed that.
Yeah.
This one just screams a bit more sexy to me, a bit more vavavoom. You know what I mean? Just a bit more interesting. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, that team's tasty. Roberto's backed me on Sarr. He said Sarr's scoring a brace this weekend, guys. Trigger said Munoz worse than Diaz and Mateta worse than Watkins.
Munoz worse than Diaz. And sorry, what was the other one?
And Mateta worse than Watkins.
Really? I don't know. Do you agree, Yelena? I don't think we can trust Watkins at the minute.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Watkins. As always, check what FPL Harry does, because he bought in Watkins at some point this season when no one else was, and it went really well. So if Harry's bringing in Watkins this week, I will back him. But I think I prefer Mateta. Munoz is one that, after how he's gotten on conceding 10 goals in the last game week, I don't know if I would stick with Munoz.
But they're not great. They're not very good fixes either.
And I'd probably...
Bournemouth and Arsenal.
I can definitely see them conceding.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, Trigger said I would not expect Mateta to start Arsenal. So if that's taking him down to a single game week player.
Possibly. But you could say that of all the Crystal Palace players, couldn't you? I mean, certainly Eze. What was he doing? I loved. I watched the Black Box stream last night, and I loved and Andy's reaction when Eze missed. I think it was then Eze missed the penalty, and then Az was behind, and he just looked like this for ages. He's just like, That's cool.
I've got I took a screenshot because I was at my nan's and I couldn't watch it. And then, because I think Az had a slight delay.
Yeah,
and
he
then,
did,
Can
yeah.
you see this?
I might be able in a second. Yes. Sort of, not very
Just
clearly.
Andy's face.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was like you can't really see it on there,
Oh.
but it's like these eyes that are like, what the fuck? These eyes. That was
So funny. Honestly, for Andy's like debut, it was such a good watch along.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So De Bruyne, what do you think? I mean, personally, if I was on a free hit, I might, but I'm definitely not transferring him in.
Yeah, I think if you're on a free hit, you have to. And I think, as I said in the chat, go for De Bruyne and Saka. The thing was, he wasn't on my radar until last game week, and it looked like the De Bruyne that we're all used to and knew and loved kind of thing. But I just don't know if he's got it in him. A double game week, 2 fixtures, and they're not the easiest fixtures. I mean, Everton defensively can be so solid. I don't know. It would be very romantic. Like in my dream FPL scenario, I bring in De Bruyne, I triple captain him. He gets me loads and loads of points, and it's lovely. And that's my final memories of him.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Yeah. You can have I need a backing track of some romantic violin or something talking about him. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
He joined Man City the first season that I started playing, I think. And like me picking him in my team around Christmas, like got me up to like a decent, I don't know, 180,000. It was good for a first season. So I've kind of got a bit of romantic. I don't know, romantic. I've definitely got some nostalgia about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder where he's going to go. I hope he doesn't just go to Saudi and, I don't know. I don't like using the word, but just like from the football terms, rot, because you're not doing anything other than earning money, are you? I don't know. Do you reckon this?
No.
Do you reckon? I don't understand why they do it. Like they have so much money anyway. Like I just don't understand why they would do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to get political here, but I just don't understand when you've got that much money already. I don't know. What do you think, Yelena? I'm going to quickly pass on.
Yeah, but you can fast track the retirement, can't you? Just do a couple of years in Saudi rather than hanging around the kind of Premier League. I mean, it depends as well on families. You might have some families that are up for moving out there, trying a different lifestyle. I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether I'd rather. I don't think if Az was a Premier League footballer, which he's close to, if you've seen him at the Juice 5-a-side tournaments. I'm sure everyone can attest that. I don't think I would personally fancy moving out to Saudi. But then if I was based somewhere like Luton, I could be tempted. I don't know.
I'll go on a slight tangent here. Are you guys going to Fest this year? Because I said I was going to go with Roberto. I know he's in the chat, and he was texting me on Monday. Shall we book our tickets Tuesday? Shall we book our tickets? And I'm 99% sure I'm going to go. I've just got to check with work, and eventually he just went, I booked my ticket. I had to get in there quick. They don't sell out quickly, do they? And are you going, Yelena? And that's.
I don't think they do sell out quickly, but I think you do. I don't know whether there's a limited capacity and it is getting bigger each year. I'm not sure. It depends on what my career is by then. Az will definitely be there. I think he books a day off work for it, so he's obviously very keen. But you should go. You should definitely go.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to. It's just sorting out arrangements. I'm going to have a quick look at my chat myself and see if Roberto said anything. No, he's not said anything, so I've got away with slagging him off. Okay. I didn't slag him off.
Trigger made a really good point, getting back to this team, because he said, remember, De Bruyne only looked good against Palace, which is a very valid comment. I think we do need to remember who the opposition was.
Yeah, I remember I think it was a double game week, probably about this time last year, maybe a little bit earlier, and everyone went massive on De Bruyne. And from a very similar situation where I think he'd been injured for a while, and then he might have made a substitute appearance and scored and assisted, something like that. And everyone got him in, and he did absolutely nothing. And I'm getting similar. It's literally one of those things where I don't think I did bring him in, and I think I remember being feeling smug about it. And it was exactly the same sort of thing where, like, Let's Talk FPL Andy, who's the one I listen to every day, was saying, like, well, you could bring him in, but I personally wouldn't. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right there. And then, yeah, I don't know. He's probably gonna go and score 4 assists and 2 goals now or something.
Yeah, it's always the way.
Craig, what do you?
Goose is in the chat. He says, "I'm always on holiday for Fest, but I'd love to make it one year. Heard it gets mental. It won't be mental without you, Goose."
What would you rate this one? And ratings in the chat. Craig, if Craig rates this lower than FPL Reviews team, then I will. I'm just gonna stop the stream now because I'm gonna faint. I'll give it. I'm gonna give it an 8. Yelena?
So if I was free hitting, I think for fun, this one's definitely more fun.
I think that's why I like it.
An 8 for fun. Yeah.
But for practicality.
But I think, do I prefer the other one?
Do you want to see the other one?
No, you know what? I'm going to back this one. I'm going to stick. Yeah. No, I'll give this one an 8 as well.
Okay, cool. And I've got the chart myself. Craig only gives this one 7. Deary me. Let's talk. The great.
He's going to be signing up to your channel membership by the end of the stream.
He will be. I will say to anyone watching, I will be doing a live stream with Trigger. Is coming back on again next week, as well as FPL Tom. We've got the older and the younger branch of FPL content creators, so I'm quite looking forward to that one. Okay. So what were we going to do next? I think should we look at our teams? We'll have a look at yours first, Yelena. So I'll read that. Let me get rid of that.
Well, let me get it off my screen.
Do you want to read it out, Yelena? Because that will give me a chance to go bend down and get another beer.
I would love to. I just need to get it to load on my computer because I can't. Well, I can see it. We've got Breyer in goal, Munoz, Canate, Vardio, then Sarr, Murphy, Palmer, Rogers, Salah, Mateta, and Marmoush up front. And then my bench is irrelevant because I'm not bench boosting. But if anyone cares, I've got Verbruggen on the bench. Isak, Livramento, and Milenkovic. So I've got 2 free transfers.
Okay.
And I think Palmer will be going. There was part of me that thought maybe this week I'll back him, but I've had enough. It's been 3 weeks now. So I'm going to take out Palmer and then I think probably replace him with Saka and chase that double. But there is part of me that thinks I should think outside the box and go for Bowen, who's just on my mind at the moment with that Southampton fixture. And then captaincy is currently on Marmoush. Again, might change. And if I went for Saka, I probably would captain him. It's all very up in the air.
What are you feeling about Bowen? I mean, I know he's got Southampton, but that's a very brave call when you've got so many double game week players. Just a feeling, or?
Do you know what? I had a dream that I was on a boat and then my room started flooding and he opened the door. Okay. I woke up and I was like, that's it. I need to bring Bowen into the team. So, yeah, that's whatever stat that is. Expected dream potential.
There was one video where you went, one of your videos that made me laugh out loud, where you were talking about different stuff and then you went, expected Yelena happiness statistic.
Yeah.
Then I was just
it's an important one.
It's the most important one, probably. Okay.
It's expected fun.
But it's also then if it doesn't go well, expected Yelena, because I've heard from Az about some of the times when things don't go right, how much it frustrates you. Yelena suspected pissed off statistic as well. Doesn't that sort of like correlate?
Yeah. You know what though? This season has been so low. Because I've given up. From game week 2, everything went wrong and I've had no enthusiasm. So then it's been fine because I've had no expectations.
Yeah, fair enough. So a bit, I'll go back. So Palmer to Saka, and then what was your second move?
Well, I might just not do anything else. I might just do
Really?
Palmer to Saka.
You've only got, you've got three free
Yeah.
transfers. Okay. Even though you're
3 or 2.
Even though you're planning to use your free hit next week.
Yeah, I've got 2 free transfers. The thing is, I don't know what I'm going to need for the following game week, and I went through a phase of just using my transfers up, and then I was kind of left behind because I don't hate the team.
No, I mean, I guess I don't know. I'd be tempted to take. You haven't got. This is just me. I would be tempted to go Konate. I mean, I am in danger of just telling you what moves to do the same moves as me. Konate to an Arsenal defender, Kivior maybe, and Jacob Murphy to someone. Not sure who though, because you've already got Rodgers. Could you afford to maybe take him to Rashford or something? Just so then you're fully in, and then you were saying earlier about you don't like your actual team to outscore your free hit team. If you made those moves, you know that there's no way that's going to happen. That's just my thinking. I do like going all in on things.
Yeah. But have you watched my vlog recently? My new way of working, which is put less effort in. So I feel like if I think through one transfer, that's enough effort for this game week. Then we just roll.
No, I mean that is usually my effort as well. That is usually my last season I basically played, and was it last season? The season before that I was playing Football Manager for about 6 months every night, and I was like, I can't be bothered to think about FPL, so I would just put the minimal effort into my decisions, and that season it led to my 12k finish, which at the time was my highest finish. So I do think there is something to be said for not putting too much thinking.
Yeah, and there's also, there's that horrible thing that someone created where you put in your team ID and then it tells you how many more points you would have. That's in my case. In other people's cases, it's probably less points. But how many points you'd have if you hadn't made any transfers. And every time by game week 10, I would have been better off doing nothing. So that's why I'm going to do this. I mean, Trigger's just said, less is sometimes more with FPL.
Yeah.
As said, selling Konate before Leicester is some bad advice, Gary. I love it.
Yeah, well, as it slipped me a fiver to give you a bad advice for this
sabotage.
Listen, yeah. Okay, all right. Let's have a look at my team. I should probably take screenshots of my team, shouldn't it? Because it looks really big on. It's hard to zoom in on the FPL app. But anyway, right. So I have Raya in goal. Currently, I have Raya in goal. Gabriel, who's injured, is going to go out. Kilman, Garvadio in defence. Saka, Eze, Sarr. So I've got the hiccups. And Murphy in midfield. Mateta, Isaac, and Mamouche up front. And my bench boost currently is Martinez, Salah, however you say his name, Mazraoui, and Livramento. So, I mean, people have been taking the piss out of me a bit for having Kilman and Mazraoui, but I basically have them in for this bench boost. So my current plan, I've got 2 free transfers. I have got, what have I got in the bank? Oh, I'll make the transfers. Well, I'm not going to make the transfers now, but I will show you what my team will look like. My current plan is obviously I've got to get rid of
live transfers.
No, I'm not going to make them. I never make my transfers. I actually might wait till Saturday this week because it's I usually make them on Friday night, but it's a later deadline, isn't it? It's like 1:30, I think.
Yeah, you can sleep in, then roll out of bed and make your transfers.
Exactly. I probably will listen to a deadline stream this weekend. Well, I don't usually, but anyway. So I'll get rid of him and get rid of Jacob Murphy, and get Rodgers in. And my original plan was Saliba, but that's obviously completely impossible now. Then it was Timber, which I think I can still afford, But then last stream I did with Triggerlips, he convinced me that this guy, do you know how to say his name? Kiror. I can actually pronounce his name before. Kivior, yeah, but I could actually pronounce it before I looked at it, and now I'm trying to actually say it out loud, looking at it. The young Arsenal defender, which would then, I mean, also because I can't wildcard or anything now. I want a bit more money. That gives you 1.1 in the bank, which would then mean I'm bench boosting with Martinez, Kilman. I'm going to say Kilman and Missouri because those are the ones that were on for the bench boost. We've got Southampton at home and Wolves away. Sorry, Southampton and Wolves both at home. And then one of Salah or Isaac. Take your pick. What do you reckon? I mean, the only other thing would potentially be Isaac to Watkins. And the reason I've only got Martinez is because I was saving that Villa spot for Watkins. But I just don't think I can do it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's one of those ones, if you do it and it pays off, that will define your season and you'll be a king. But if it doesn't, then it's a really silly move. So it's difficult. I think you should scrap Rodgers and take Salah out for McGinn. That's to repay your Sel Kanate.
Salah advice. Out for McGinn, okay. But the thing
he scored last week, John McGinn.
But you're not sabotaging my team. You go and sabotage Az's team, not my team. I quite like that. What do you think of Kivior versus Timber? Any idea which one's more nailed on? I mean, I don't know who's starting. I'll look it up on one.
Absolutely no.
I'll look it up on one of my. And guys in the chat, what do you think of this? Yeah, Trigger saying Kivior is the one I'm bringing in. Goose Serio says, as a Man United fan, I pronounce the defender's name Misery. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly look up who started at right back in the Champions League. Who would you prefer from the Arsenal defenders there? Yelena?
Well, I mean, I think the fact that Trigger's gone for Kivior means that I would also just copy exactly what he does. And especially if you've been because who have you got who started previously? I've got my multiple screens going, Gary.
I'm just looking up now. I'm just
like
looking
a
up now.
Streamer.
So it was Timber. He did start against Arsenal. So that presumably then he's in the Arsenal strongest 11. But I have a feeling he was dropped the weekend before that for the Premier League game. I don't know. I guess it's a risk either way. But if they're both a risk, and the risk of Kivior is only going to cost me $1 million less, then I guess I take that risk over. I'm not really. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter who I bring in, but I'm not really liking that backline for the rest of the season. I guess Livramento's okay. If those two, if Livramento and Gvardiol and Kivior keeps playing, then I guess I sort of like it. But if he gets dropped and I've got Kilman and Missouri, I really do not like, putting that as my backline for like the last 4 game weeks after I've free hit. But yeah, I guess there's not much I can do about it.
No, and also the nice thing, you've got double Arsenal defence, so at least you'll have Raya no matter what, and if they have clean sheets, you'll still be able to get in on there. I mean, the chat's saying, as I said, Timber's unreal but had injury issues. Zytgul says Timber's higher up the pitch when he plays. As said, Kivior has no competition, all other centre-backs injured. So I think it's the one to go for, and especially if you can't get the price point of Saliba. I mean, what is he now, 6.5?
Saliba, Saliba is, yeah. This is why I love doing these streams. I get basically FPL experts giving me Tell me what to, who probably watch football a lot more closely than me.
Yeah, as long as the chat's active, you're good to go.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll just read out the good advice.
Do the guys in the chat reckon I should take a hit for Isaac to Watkins? You're not a fan of that, Yelena?
No, I don't like that. I prefer having Rodgers, I think.
Well, I can have both.
I think Rodgers is enough coverage. I just haven't seen. Yeah, I think I prefer Isak, to be honest.
Yeah.
Even though Isak has obviously been quiet the last couple of game weeks, but if I search.
Yeah, it was frustrating them scoring all those goals and him not getting more. But I like to see that as Newcastle are playing well, and thus are going to create Isaac chances as opposed to them maybe getting a 1-0 when Isaac gets a penalty.
And that's the thing.
Thinking.
I think taking out a penalty taker, and just because Watkins has got the double, his minutes recently, 24 minutes, 61, 25, 90, it's not really enough to want to take out Isak.
I'm just thinking, do you have to be any...
I mean, Andrew said...
Do you have to be out of it by any particular time?
Andrew said selling Isak for Watkins is terrible. Well, I was going to go for a run.
Okay.
But no, it's getting dark now.
Okay.
Never mind. No rush. I can be here all night.
It's a nice view outside, though. I always have my curtains shut. It's nice. I'm almost like watching the sunset behind you.
Yeah, it's nice because there's the sea down there. I mean, you can't actually see the sea from here. But,
the sea?
Yeah, blue skies. Take it all in. Yeah, Leon Sea.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, I forgot your parents said that. Okay, all right. Let's literally rip off Black Box now and do our predictions, which...
I'm so bad at predictions.
To be honest, I added this in because, on Elite FPL, they do predictions, and I did 2 streams with Steve-O, and we got to the end of looking at our teams. He's like, what about predictions? What about predictions? So I was like, okay, we can... I'll add predictions in. So next time Steve-O comes on, which hopefully will be soon. He couldn't make the last one. He couldn't make this one. Unfortunately, he can't make the next one, but hopefully he will...
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, hopefully he'll
Are you sure he's not just avoiding you?
Well, he might be. We were sending some weird messages last night about, which I might tell you about off stream, about his fauvorite subject.
Oh God.
His favourite subject of OF girls, but anyway. But we did this.
Yeah, maybe that's the post watershed.
Yes, exactly. But actually, doing the predictions with Trig last week actually helped me. Okay, all right. So, Yelena, you can go first. Your gentleman's team, Brighton, against the team with the best pies. Is it best pies in the Premier League, Brentford?
It's actually funny enough. So Brentford was best sausage rolls, and Brighton was best pies.
Oh, okay. So it's the pies against the sausage rolls. This is from Yelena's. Well, go and watch my interview with her if you don't know what we're talking about. Yelena's food.
Yeah, there's no good FPL advice, but I can recommend the food.
You can, yeah. So rating the teams here, Yelena, rather than the food. Who do you reckon is going to come out on top on this one?
I think it will be. I'm going to say 2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Brentford. Yeah, I'll go just to be a bit more exciting. 3-2, but I think Brentford at home. They've had some really. I don't know. They've gone off the boil a bit, haven't they? But they were having really entertaining matches earlier in the season. They actually remind me a bit of my old Newcastle team from the olden days. Where it was like we'll score more than you, one more than you earlier in the season, but I still think they'll be on top. Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. I'll go this time. I'm gonna go. This is a difficult one. Well,
it's really difficult because if Palace have an amazing, cause I can imagine where they've been so crap the last 2 games, they could actually go full force. Plus, it's a home fixture.
Do you reckon one of the reasons they've been going off is because they've got one mind on the FA Cup semi-final? Because that must be their biggest game in. I mean, I can't remember them ever getting to a final since I've been watching football. I'm going to go 3-0 Bournemouth.
Yeah, but there's having one mind on that, and then there's just absolutely collapsing, conceding 10 goals. That's ridiculous.
That could be it. And if it continues, Bournemouth have got enough to put away. I'm going to go 3-0 to Bournemouth. What do you think, Ellen?
Bloody hell. I'm going to spice it up and say 1-0 Palace.
Okay.
And that's biased because I have triple Palace this game week, so that's optimistic.
Okay, Everton versus Man City. I'm going to go... No, sorry, Ellen, you go. You can have this one.
Everton Man City, I think... I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1? Okay. That's quite a stingy prediction.
That is.
Yeah, well, I want my Moose to do well. City sort of coming back into form. I'm going to go 3-1 City. 3-1 City. West Ham versus Southampton. Got to be 5-0 with 5 Bowen goals, isn't it, Yelena?
Yeah. And then saving random women from drowning ships.
Yeah. Well, Kilman's got to get a clean sheet. So Southampton are definitely going to score 0. I'll go 3-0 in this one.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. Kilman has to keep a clean sheet. I have to have bought a West Ham defender who wasn't even bloody Wan-Bissaka for for a reason. Manon saying 3-1.
I can't back that.
3-1 to who, Manon? Okay. Villa versus Newcastle. That's going to be an interesting one with all the double game week players and potentially quite a few Newcastle players that people might have. What do you think of that one, Yelena?
I'm going to say 3-2 to Newcastle.
Okay. I like the prediction. Yeah, I don't know why, but I have a feeling this is going to be a more boring game than it looks on paper. I'm just going to go for 1-1. I think. I don't know. I mean, there's something to say. Actually, no. You're right, because Villa have just gone out of the European Cup. Yeah, no, I'm going to revise that. 3-1 to Newcastle. They've just gone out of the European Cup, Villa. They're preparing for the FA Cup. I think it will be another slight hangover situation. God, there's a lot of fixtures here as well. Fulham versus Chelsea. I'll let you take this on your team.
Oh, Fulham is so good at home as well. I'm going to say a very optimistic and probably stupid 2-1 to Chelsea.
And Palmer to get both goals after you sold him. He's not scored for 10.
You know what? The last time I sold Palmer, he scored 4 goals against Brighton.
Did he? Yeah, I think that's the thing, is a lot of people are worried about him because of memories like. But I read somewhere today, I don't know how true it is, that it's been 10 games since he scored a goal. I mean, that's for his talent, that is absolutely ridiculous. And I think that might be right, actually, because
when you compare him to last season,
we can check if it's right, actually. Yeah. I mean, I know
his
a lot.
last goal was in the Premier League, was game week 21.
Okay, so yeah, that's more than potentially more than 10 weeks then. Yeah, I mean, for his talent, that is just ludicrous. I'm going to go for a Fulham win here, 1-0, I think. 1-0, I think. Sorry, Yelena. Just because apparently Fulham have this like rhythm where they win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, and they lost the last one. So I'm going to go for them to beat Chelsea. Arsenal versus Ipswich.
Great.
Thoughts, Yelena?
You know what? Ipswich, it probably says more about Chelsea, but Ipswich gave us a run for our money last week. So I think they'll score, but I think Arsenal will win. So I'm going to say a conservative 2-1 win to Arsenal.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of go along with that, to be honest. I'll go with the same. I'll go with the same. I mean, they are getting towards the FA Cup final, but coming off that Real Madrid win, even if they play like they're under 18s, I think they probably would at the minute. Man United, Wolves. I hate trying to predict Man United's games. I've got Mazraoui starting, so therefore it has to be a clean sheet. 1-0 Man United. I'll go with that. With some Bruno Fernandes probably.
You know what? Strand Larsen's been on one, so I think Wolves will score. So I think it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, Liverpool, Leicester. What do you think, Yelena?
Who's gone? Oh, I'm there. Liverpool, Leicester. I'm going to say 3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool, confident prediction. Yeah, I'm going to go 4-0, 4 goals from Salah from my bench. That will make the bench boost completely justified. Spurs versus Forest. 2-1 Forest. I don't know. I guess Spurs are just useless. I mean, I keep having Spurs managers on the interview series recently. I just feel sorry for them. I had Baker on this. Do you know?
It's horrible, isn't it?
Have you watched the one with Baker? Yelena?
No.
His great grandfather founded Spurs, which is just crazy.
What?
Yeah.
That's mad.
I know. I said, like, why do you support Spurs? And he was like, well, my family basically founded them. And I was like, I basically started laughing, and then he was like, no, and he went into the whole story. So yeah,
Gee, that is the best claim for why you support a team.
I know. Yeah, there's definitely no glory hunting or anything there. It's like, apparently, what did he say to me? His, I think he was on his mum's side, the connection, and his dad basically had to revoke supporting Manchester City to be allowed into the family. It's quite anyway, but yeah, I'll go 2-1 here, and your man to Chris Wood to get back on form, I reckon, Yelena. What would you say here?
Oh, hopefully. I think 1-0 Forest.
That'd be great this season. It's weird as well. I'm going to talk. We'll briefly talk about Mark in a while, but it's weird that Forest will probably qualify for the Champions League and he won't be able to like gloat about it.
I know.
Man City, Villa. Villa mind on the cup final. I'm going to go for a real decent win for City. 3-0.
Wow.
I just think Villa's mind will be on the cup.
Yeah. I'm going to say 0-0.
0-0? Really?
Yeah. Why not? Mix it up.
Okay. And Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, I'm going to go again 3-0 just because I think Crystal Palace mind will be on the FA Cup.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3-0.
You just want to get these predictions finished, don't you, Yelena?
Yeah, just chatting through them. I saw as his comment in the chat, he said about Brighton, we'll smash them and then put 1-0.
Okay, we are full screener. Are you sure you're right to have a chat, Yelena, or do you want to go for a run?
Yeah. Oh.
You sure? Okay.
No. Yeah, good for a chat.
Okay, so we're now going to get into, well, it will be FPL related, but most of it. So, have we got any?
Sorry to interrupt. Have you seen Andrew's comment?
No.
About Newcastle?
Gary, you
They
think
said, Gary, you think Newcastle beat Villa? Oh, go on.
Gary, you think Newcastle beat Villa 3-1, and City beat Villa 3-0. Yet you're selling your Newcastle attackers for Villa ones. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the logic of FPL, isn't it? Or the lack of logic, Andrew. I think one thing, but I, go against it based on probabilities, I guess. So, Yelena, I had a few things I wanted to talk about here. The first one is kind of FPL related. The assistant managership, because I didn't have a chance to talk to you about this back when you came on your interview, because we didn't know at the time what it was. Are you a fan, and have you played it, and how did it go?
I played it. It went really well. I can't remember how many points I got, but that was the turning point of my season where I managed to get out of the millions and had really good. I think it was 4 weeks in a row, good rank increases. But I think in its current state, I don't like it. I think I'd probably prefer it just for one game week. I think I don't like the fact that it goes on for 3 game weeks. It takes a place for a player, so you can't triple up on the players, then have the assistant manager from the same team. And I don't like the fact that you have to use a transfer. And I also don't like the fact that once you select your assistant manager, you have to use a transfer to then change it again within the same game week. Otherwise, you have to take a -4. I wish it was a bit more like the wild card where you could pick and choose. So I think I like the idea of it. I think the execution wasn't great, but hopefully FPL Towers will take back the mostly negative feedback, I think, and be able to do something better with it next season.
Do you reckon they'll keep it?
I feel like the amount of time and effort that would have gone into the coding means that we're stuck with it. But I'm not sure. Because I'm not sure whether they just scrap it and then they wouldn't have anything to replace it, or if they've got something in the works. I don't know.
Yeah. So I thought I would just touch on Mark leaving Black Box. Obviously, Yelena, for anyone who doesn't know, watching back, is in a relationship with Az, which we're going to get onto a little bit more in a minute. Very sad, Yelena.
Oh, gosh.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, really sad. It's it's not nice. And I was waiting for him to announce it. Because I think I had a conversation with you, and it was something to do with Mark, and I was like, oh, I don't want to accidentally say Black Box won't be the same because obviously he's going. And then I wasn't sure how the transition was going to be. I didn't know what their plan was. I didn't know who else was going to bring in to kind of co-host it. But I think the relationship between Az and Mark is so nice. Like they obviously have the good chemistry on screen, but they speak to each other more than Mark speaks to his partner and Az speaks to me. They've just got such a real bond. And I think it is such a shame that Mark can't do the job alongside Black Box, because obviously he's such a big name in the community and a big presence. But if anyone's going to go and do that job, Mark is the best person for it.
Do you know the funny thing was, I actually predicted it was going to happen. I don't know where I've said this in the video somewhere, but it probably.
I heard you say this.
Yeah, because basically when I interviewed Mark, he said to me beforehand, he said we can't talk about the future of Black Box, and we can't talk about. I can't remember if he said the future of the Premier League or can't talk about the inner workings of the Premier League. And just afterward, at the time I just said like, well, okay, because I wouldn't have talked about that anyway. And then when I woke up the next morning, I thought to myself, why was he asked? He'd have only said that if something is changing in those two areas. So I sent Steve a voice message the next day, and I said, Mark is gonna. Here's a prediction. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but Mark is going to be off Black Box by the end of the season to go and work for the Premier League. And then when they basically announced, when him and Az announced it that night, I mean, not only I was almost, I don't want to say near close to tears, but because they are my favourite podcast, but no, I was like, I've never been so sad to get a prediction right, and not even get it right because I predicted the end of the season. So, yeah, but much love to Mark. Much love. Is he going? So he's going to go and work behind the scenes. Is that right? So a lot of people have been saying to me like, it's a really good thing that he'll be working behind the scenes.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the role is, but he'll make things better.
Mm.
That's all I'm assuming. It's a shame though, because I'm sure you saw the final episode with him in where he announced that he was leaving, and his setup is so cool. He looks like an evil villain, and I thought that's such a shame that you've managed to get this incredible setup, and then obviously unable to use it.
Yeah, Az texted me about that when he watched the Mark interview, and he said, "Look at Mark with all the like gadgets behind. You've just got your green screen. Now I've got a whole forest."
Honestly, I love the Nightmare said. What was it? I think that forest you're in is a weed dispensary. Earlier on, I looked at you and I saw this smoke coming up, and I was like, "What is happening?"
I wish it was, Andrew. I wish it was. So this is the question that I didn't.
That should be the next stream we do together.
Yes, yeah, that would be a fun one. May have to go on members only. Please sign up if you'd like to see that. I was gonna say I saw this yesterday, as was saying, and he can probably comment in the chat about this, about the black box rotation with Luke and Andy, which I both love. Is there any chance Yelena may be added in as a third component to that rotation?
I think I'd leave halfway through. I love black box. I love having it on. I watch it, but I would zone out.
And here we are running almost as long as a black box episode.
Yeah, but in all due respect to the FPL Have a Beer channel, it's a lot less stat heavy.
Well,
I think Black Box is incredible, and no one does it like them. And I think the fact that even with Andy and Luke as well coming in, they've got such good banter between them. It's never dull, and the amount of information that they cram in is incredible, whilst making it obviously kind of easy to listen to. But yeah, I don't think I'll be featuring ever.
Fair enough. Well, I think it's probably. I mean, we talked about your relationship in FPL when you came on the channel for your interview. It's probably good to keep that content separate anyway, isn't it? And you both got very different vibes to your content.
Yeah, and also like we've got very different vibes in TV shows we like and stuff. So while Az is doing Black Box, it's nice because I can put on some trashy reality TV show that I know you'll hate, and it gives me a good. The longer Black Box goes on, the better, because I can cram in the episodes.
We're going to get onto TV shows in a minute, but before I do that, Yelena.
Oh no.
So for anyone who's not watched, I had Yelena on for an interview back in December, wasn't it? And then Az came on probably in February. So they both told, one of the things I asked them both was how they met. And Yelena said one story. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I can remember the exact details. And then Az gave another one. And then Yelena sent me a voice message basically saying, Az got so many of those details wrong, the next time I come on the channel, I am going to correct them. Do you remember sending this voice message? It was a couple of months ago, Yelena. So I've just...
I can't remember what the details were, though.
Okay. I did tell you about this last night, so thank you for clapping.
You said do you want to set the record straight? And I was like, I'm not fussed. They were largely right. I think Az put in a lot more, that we'd spoken more than we had. Because obviously we had he called me a beast on Twitter to his like 50,000 followers.
I can remember it now. So he said that he sent you a message 6 months before, basically saying, what is a hub
ambassador?
And then you you didn't even ghost him, you just blanked him for 6 months. And then the beast...
Yeah, because I thought he was...
Sorry, go on.
What happened was he messaged me to say, welcome to the community. I like your style of video. And I was like, thank you. And then that was that. And then he messaged me the next day because Fantasy Football Hub posted that I was one of their ambassadors. And then he messaged me saying, what exactly is an ambassador? He. And I thought that was patronising, and he was taking the mickey because he was from Fantasy Football Scout. And I also didn't really know what an ambassador was, so I didn't have an answer anyway. So then I ignored him, and then he tweeted about me and Ross about 3 weeks later, calling me a beast. And then I just thought, this guy hates me. And so I just didn't speak to him.
And then according to his interview, you were in a relationship for quite a long time. You were keeping it quiet, and then you did some sort of... Yes, as I am going to do that. in a minute. There was like a flick through show of different moments of your year, and then someone spotted you as in the background in his underpants.
Oh, this was what he.
In his underpants.
This was what he got wrong, because I didn't. I mean, still to this day, I post them on Instagram, but when it comes to kind of Twitter and Blue Sky and things, very rarely. But I was like, let's just not have anything online, and then if people know we're together, it's fine, but we won't post about it. And then it was when. Did you ever use an app? It was called Be Real.
No, I've never heard of it, but I know what it is because Ad's explained it.
Oh, so it was. Yeah, and then it was him. He uploaded a picture of me at his parents' house. So, like, obviously, all of the sirens are going at that point because it's like me with his dad randomly. And then he had people from the FPL community in that, and then I think that got shared around. So then suddenly it was like, "Are you with us?" And it was quite funny because it did just come out of the blue. We had a few tweets together, but
it was his Be Real, not yours.
Yeah, it was his.
He's just putting, this is all accurate. I don't know if he means that sarcastically or not. So it was Az's fault, basically.
He's like, yes, this is how it happened here.
He was pushing the blame onto you when...
I mean, Triggers called me out.
Yeah.
Triggers said, hub propaganda merchant. Yeah, that was it. I was like getting all the propaganda out, all the subliminal messages.
Well, this channel is very favourable hub now because I've got a few of their people coming on. So anyway, skipping quickly on. What am I skipping quickly on to? Okay, well, it's not too big a difference then. Just he blamed you.
No, I'll have to watch back his interview and then I'll send you over like written notes on what actually happened.
Okay. Shall I go into my rant now? I believe I shall.
Gosh, yeah, let me open another Diet Coke.
I might have to get another beer for this one. Okay. So the reason I'm going on this rant is because I watched a TV show called Adolescence, which I wasn't a great fan of, and I sent a message to Yelena. I'll go into why I wasn't a great fan of it in a minute. I sent a message to Yelena saying, what did you think of this? This is what I thought of it. And Yelena largely agreed with me. Would that be fair to say? Not exactly, but because I want.
Can I give context to you messaging me though?
Go ahead.
This was when I was absolutely smashed. It was Saturday at like midnight.
Yeah, so was I.
And then because I was you and Steve-O voice noted me at the same time. And you were very polite and you just responded to me. And then Steve-O's voice note to me, he was like, "You're embedding Thai food. That's disgusting." Because I'd honestly rolled into my house, bought some leftover Thai food upstairs. And then you were talking and I was like, yeah, I completely agree. So I haven't listened back to my voice notes, but I still stand by. I probably do largely agree with what you said.
Well, I think you did. Yelena said, so I was wanting to make a video for my second channel, which is a film channel. And she basically said to me, but Az would be good to debate this with. So then I messaged Az I'm getting too much into context there, to try and get him on for the debate. But he will not come on because apparently his film views are hated enough in the community already. But for a man who already said on my channel his favourite ever film is Ali G in the House, I don't see how that can really get much worse. So anyway, I'm going to go on a rant here. I thought it was very overrated. I'm not going to... I don't know. How much will I get into this, Yelena? I don't really go into too much of a political rant. I'm not going to go into political rant because it's not really political. Go ahead.
Az is going to leave the chat. Because I watched the first 2 episodes and then I texted Az and said this Adolescence, and also it was before it got picked up by like the Prime Minister, so I was like, oh, Adolescence is worth watching, like give it a go. And then bless him, he loved it because episode 3 and 4 kind of it went a bit downhill for me, and Az adored it, and then he kept talking to me about it, and I couldn't give back the same energy because I was like, it is good, it is really good, and it's really well done and blah blah blah. But I didn't, the level of enthusiasm he had was mad. So then when you voice noted me, I thought this is perfect, someone for us to talk to, and then you had very different views on it.
Well, he literally, when I told him about it, he just sent me a load of messages like, fuck off, that's I thought I'd actually upset him, and then he was like that. But anyway, Zykel, who is also a subscriber to my film fan, Ask me what did I like. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't watched Adolescence, it's basically about a young boy who's murdered a young teenage girl, and according to the media, it's incredibly shot. It is technically very nicely shot. It's all shot in one take. I actually watched a documentary about that yesterday, which sort of the drone shot, how they actually planned the drone shot. I'm actually bloody praising it now. With the drone shot that goes over, that was very well done. But anyway, the main reason it's been picked up in the media is about. I have a feeling during this rant I'm going to convince myself I actually like it. The main purpose is the reason it's got into government and stuff is people are saying it sheds light on a lot of the misogyny we have in society, people like Andrew Tate, etc. So I will actually say I'm going to come back a little bit on, because when I sent my voicemail to Yelena, I basically said it's the most pretentious shit I've ever seen. I'm going to go back slightly on that, although I still hate. I think the exact thing I said to you, Yelena, was a choir over a drone shot for 2 minutes. A choir! Or something along those lines.
Yeah, you weren't happy about that.
Yeah.
And then when I told you it was the girl singing, and you were like, how are we meant to know that?
Well, I stand by that. How are we meant to know? You said you wouldn't have known that unless as I told you. But the main thing that annoyed me was it's supposed to be about misogyny and Andrew Tate and all that stuff, and there was absolutely nothing. It was hardly mentioned throughout it. To me, it ended up that the kid was messed up, was obviously a bit of a psycho, was being bullied for being apparently an incel. But to me, he did the murder because he was being bullied and he was a psycho, not because he was an incel. And that's fine if during it they touched on the incel stuff more. But as text me, that they touched upon it in the school conversation between the dad and the kid. But it just didn't. To me, it just doesn't. I found it incredibly boring, which was the main issue I had with it, and I didn't feel like it addressed what it's claiming to have addressed. I didn't like it. Yelena, please feel free to share your thoughts on this completely non-FPL related topic.
I think I understand what you're saying about the incel stuff, but I think it was meant to be so subtle to highlight it can happen to any child in any kid's bedroom on their phones, and how detached parents are from that kind of stuff. Because if it would have been a completely different show if you had this kid that you started to hate because they're going home every day and they're calling out women on the internet and they're watching Andrew Tate and they're acting really cocky at school and all that kind of stuff. And I think the end of episode 1, I thought it was going to be a whodunit. And then when they actually showed the footage of him attacking the girl, you think, what? Like, this is so unexpected.
So, yeah,
and I think he had to have this level of innocence
as it's going like this, and then he's typing, why am I still here? Sorry, I didn't
he's probably deleted a lot of what he said. And I think everyone's got some people don't even know about incels. I think there's a lot of the older generation that are fully unaware and maybe live in a nice bubble where Andrew Tate isn't even a thing. But I think a lot of people have a set idea of what an incel looks like. And this kid didn't look like that. And actually he was a really quiet, he had his friends, they were the kind of nerdy ones and the whole 80-20 thing. And they were so young that because it was uncomfortable in episode 3 where the psychiatrist is asking him about his kind of sexual urges and how he feels towards women and things like that. And I think it was just meant to be very subtle to get under your skin. But the thing that annoyed me about it is what the government are now doing. And they're saying we need to show this to every child in school and every secondary school, every kid needs to see this. No, they don't, because they're living it. That's their reality. They understand all of these things that go on. It's actually the parents that need to be educated. And I think this hopefully got under enough parents' skin and were concerned about what's going on in their child's phones and what they're doing on the internet and that kind of stuff. So just burp, sorry.
Right. I've probably done it about 7 times.
And what annoys me is the patronising nature of kids need to see this, they need to understand it. And it's like, no, because they're living and breathing it every single day, and that's what they have to deal with on their phones. I think there's bits like episode 3, I think it was episode 3, or it might have been episode 4.
Psychologist
when they're in the van, that scene.
That's 4, yeah.
Oh, Psychologist is episode 3, yeah. So that, I thought was a really good episode. My problem was, because I'd seen so much about it online, you know, your expectations are so much higher. So I wouldn't say it's as good as I expected it to be, but for that to be his acting debut is incredible. And there were the subtleties, like when he yawns, that was actually him yawning in real life. And then they managed to bounce off of each other and make that into...
Is that the dad?
No, the boy. He yawns.
Oh, okay.
In episode 3. But then I don't... Sorry, just saw Trigger's comment. He said, I generally do not like shows that try and put across a message, a bit like Hub Ambassadors. Completely agree, Trigger, completely agree. But then I think it's similar to, what was the war film that Harry Styles was in? Dunkirk. That goes on for ages, but it's because you're meant to feel like you're there.
That was bloody, that was boring as well.
Yeah. But that you're meant to feel like you're a soldier and you're waiting on that beach. And I sure did when I was in that Odeon. And that's the thing with episode 4. It was a bit slow for me. But then the ending with the dad and the subtleties again, where the mum's downstairs trying to hold it together. The dad's in a separate part of the house trying to hold it together. Then they come together and they act like everything's normal. It did feel very immersive and very normalised. But I can understand your frustrations with it. I think it depends what you're looking for from the show.
I don't know. Just because I watched it and I was expecting it to be a lot more than it was. I mean, Nightmares and a few people have commented in the chat. It did what it set out to do, and I guess you can't really disagree with that. I don't know. But that may be true, but it's a piece of art I just found incredibly boring. Yeah, but I get what. I get that it's a good thing. It's the same as what you said as well. And in one of your voicemails, it shouldn't take. Danger of me being too political here. But you know, the post office. You know, they'd had to make a. I can't remember if it's you or Steve.
Oh my god! Don't.
Something they've been going on.
It was me because I said I want them.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I want there to be a Netflix documentary on the cost of rent in London. So
the
government
exactly,
will do something.
Exactly. It's like. Okay.
I mean, look, Ad's in the chat. He said, "It sounds like you liked it, Yells." I did like it, but you just wanted to go into every single millisecond, and I didn't have that engagement.
Yes, you are defending it more than I was expecting after your drunk voice message, but that was only one drunk voice message. But you know.
No, what annoys me is the reaction to it from the government, where they're trying to push it on children and things. Because, like I said, they're not the ones that need to understand it.
No.
And I think I probably watched it a bit too late, where there was so much hype. Because the episode 3, have you seen the Menendez brothers Netflix drama?
I have. Yeah, I really enjoyed
that. Not the documentary, but the drama where they have the same thing, the questioning.
Yeah, and it sort of goes through whether or not they may have been sexually abused, and you sort of feel sorry for them, and then it ends up they're not being sexually abused. Yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah,
because the episode where he gets questioned in that room, and that's all done in one shot. Jesus Christ, I was sat there and like that completely stunned me, and I think that had more of an impact on me than the adolescence episode, which is like similar scenario. But yeah, I mean, oh god, Az has just messaged me. He said, I didn't even think when I tried to speak to you about adolescence, I didn't think I tried to speak to you about adolescence that much. The thing is, I think it's good. Like for some people, it really triggers a lot. And maybe watching it as a female, I haven't necessarily got the same response to it because I'm not a guy. And that's not something I would have to, no one's going to run around calling me an incel.
No. Do you know what was funny? I didn't know about that thing about the hearts being different colours. And Baker replied, sent me a message. Well, didn't send a message. Replied to one of the comments. I can't remember. Anyway, he put a grey heart. and I thought it was sort of like a grey white heart, and I thought maybe he must know. It could just be because that's the one he clicked on. So I was like, I need to go and look up what sort of heart this is, and I thought I better not reply with a red heart because maybe a red heart means I'm in love with them. But I've sent red hearts to probably half the FPL community by now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sort of look up my heart. Do you know what the heart colour definition means?
I didn't know. I didn't know that until I watched it, and then I was looking back at the hearts that I sent, and I thought, oh God, what have I been saying to people? But no, I think my heart use is okay.
Yeah, it's like one of them. I mean, have I been telling half the FPL community that I want to sleep with them, or I don't know. I don't know. You know, younger members may think that.
Watch out.
Yes. I mean, I was gonna make. I mean, if it's towards like FPL Nightmare, then you know that's entirely what I did mean. But anyway, I will read a couple of things. I know this one's for you, Yelena, because I know you told me you're a big fan of Black Mirror. What did you all think of episode 3 of Black Mirror? Everyone is ranking it as the worst, but it was my favourite.
Episode 3, was that the hotel one, or was that?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
I've really enjoyed Black Mirror so far this season. It feels like the old school Black Mirror. Have you watched the other Black Mirror seasons?
I've literally watched like 2 episodes. I watched one that was like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this.
We did. Yeah, I watched one where it was like they were in like some prison, and then they went on like this episode of the X Factor, which is just really weird. And I watched,
500 million merits.
Yeah, and I watched another one where there was like a pretend robot, male. I can't remember if it's like a sex slave or something like that. I can't remember. But I wasn't overly impressed by.
Are you sure that was Black Mirror?
No. It was something like that. No, that was it. It was like some sort of like it's a bit like the Substance actually, where they like bred. I think she like bred a man or something. I can't remember. But anyway, neither of the
That doesn't ring a bell.
Neither of the episodes particularly struck me as something I want to watch again. Although I'm sure I know that a lot of people really like it. Anyway,
what I love about Black Mirror is everyone's favourite episodes and least favourite episodes differ so much. Subjective. You might have an episode that you watch and you go, wow, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Yes. Anyway, Yelena, as a few people commented on my last video, they like the long outros, which I enjoy because me and Trig got into one. It took absolutely ages. And I keep saying to him, I really need a piss. And someone commented, this channel is going to turn into FPL really need a piss. Like that.
Yeah. You need to just have a compilation of every time you've said that.
Yeah,
that could be
maybe.
a video for pre-season.
I'm trying to think which bit at the end of the episode I can clip into a clip now, Yelena. I'm not sure which. Yeah, no, it's been absolutely delightful to have you on. Thank you so much. Anything
Thank you for having me.
Anything you wanted to say before we finish? Would you? I'm also now he's here. As I'd love to have you and Yelena, or either of you separately on between now and the end of the season for a live stream, if either of you up for it. Anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we finish, Yelena?
I would just like to encourage everyone to transfer in John McGinn and enjoy all of the points that he's going to score.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much again, Yelena. I actually just feel like we're having a chat now because we've gone completely off FPL. So I've got to like take myself back into YouTube mode. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you have a great game week. Please like, please subscribe, and especially if you're a Trigger, please check out channel memberships. Thanks everyone.